Hello and welcome to the June edition of the Redwood Real Estate Report. I'm Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans.
And I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
And here we are at nearing the halfway mark for the year. It's kind of shocking. This year has gone by really quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a bit of whiplash myself, but
Yeah, well, we're in kind of peak season now for real estate, or what is normally the peak
mhm.
season. And as we go into summer, and yeah, there's some interesting information out there going around. We'll hit all that for you. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment on things that you would like to hear us address on the Redwood Real Estate Report. Um, and yeah, so the month of June, flowers are blooming, properties are looking nice, everything's bright and sunny, turning into bright and sunny in the world.
Curbs are very appealing.
We're in peak curb appeal season, right? People are starting to visit their summer homes. A lot of fun things going on. So, anyways, you want to hit our keys of the month? You want me to go first?
Sure, go
Okay,
for it.
all right. I'll kick it off with my typical rate review. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hit my April and my May months, and then we'll do a little breakdown of what those look like. So the monthly high for April was 6.46, monthly low 6.23. The monthly average was 6.33%.
Mhm.
So down a little bit from the previous month of March, comparing that. So about a 0.25% swing as the month went around. So not an extreme amount of volatility, but enough that it does affect buyers in the sense of their payment. Your larger loan amounts on the spectrum, that could be a $200 or $300 difference on your payment. They started elevating through the March spike that we saw. They fell steadily throughout the most of the month of April, bottomed out during the week of April 23rd at 6.23. We ended the month slightly higher at 6.3%. So,
Mhm.
but it's good that we did see a bottom, there near the end of the month. As we go into the month of May, we saw uh, the high or the average rate for the first week was 6.37. The average for the second week 6.36. The average in the third week of May 6.51. The
Mm-mm.
average in the last week of May 6.53. So there we're seeing an upward trend through the month of May. It's a bit unfortunate as we reach the peak purchase season to have a little bit of a spike in rates for the month of May. The weekly average was 6.53. Monthly low was 6.36. Overall, we had a 6.44 average with a range of just 0.17. So not a lot of volatility,
Right.
but overall it was just a gradual incline in rates. A lot of uncertainty, obviously in world markets and the economies. A lot going on the geopolitical stage, as we all know, and that hasn't played well for rates in recent history.
Now,
So
with the new Fed chair coming in, do you have any idea, or has there been chatter about what the first move is going to be?
not really, I mean, is it gonna be I mean, if it's a Trump puppet, then he'll I guess work to lower rates. I don't know, which might be good short term. What's that gonna do to inflation? But ultimately, I don't think that's really gonna happen. I think typically the people that get these roles um know how to play the game of economies of scale. And it's gonna be probably just curbing bets against inflation. They'll look at the jobs numbers. They'll look at, the economic data that's available, and they're going to play accordingly. It's kind of always gone that way. So I don't anticipate, certainly nothing dramatic.
Okay.
Probably um, more stability like we've seen. We saw only a 0.25% variance in April, 0.17% variance in May, up or down. So I think that's going to continue. But I do expect a little bit more stability in markets through the end of the year. So hopefully we get back down into the low sixes. I don't know if we'll touch the fives this year, but hopefully we get back down to those fives in the first quarter of 2027.
Because we were seeing fives at the very beginning of the year.
I believe
High
it was,
fives.
yeah, I believe it was the end of February. We touched like 5.98. So if you locked in a 5.9 rate, you nailed it. Let's go into some takeaways for borrowers. Rates improved in the month of April by 23 basis points from the month's high to the month's low. The week ending April 23rd produced the lowest rates on average at 6.23. Rates reversed a little bit higher for the month of May. Averages rose about just 11 basis points. The lowest weekly average in May is 6.36, which was higher than the low of 6.23 for the month of April.
Mhm.
Rates ended the month at 6.53, so the highest weekly average since early April. So we did end on a high for the month of May. Let's hope that that speaks good things for the month of June and rates coming back down to a more normalized rate. Hopefully we can get down around 6.25. That would be ideal.
Is that 6.53? Is that the highest it's been for the calendar year?
No, we touched up in the, I believe, 6.6 range in the month of March. We
Okay.
saw a spike. So
Okay.
March is when we really saw that spike. To give you guys an idea on what that means for mortgage payments. If you have a $500,000 loan and you're at 6.23, which was the low for April, you're at a $3,070 a month is your principal and interest payment on your mortgage. If you're at 6.53, that's a $3,170 payment. So it's exactly $100 difference
Mhm.
with a 0.3% increase in your interest rate. That doesn't factor in your property taxes and insurance,
Sure.
which obviously your property taxes, are going to be more, your insurance is going to be more. So, but $100 a month, 0.3% difference on payment.
That's really good context.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah. And that's about all I have for you on my market key is the interest rates this month. So we'll get into some fun community events and other things later. But Annalise, what do
Yes.
you have for us? Break down the
Okay.
numbers.
All right. So, for local real estate markets, up until May, the overall number of home sales in Humboldt was trending positive compared with the last 3 years. But as of now, we're actually down about 2% from the 2025 trends. But we're still up 4% compared with 2024 sales. And remember, we hit a record number of home sales in 2021. It was about 1,500,
Hmm.
but that figure took a dive in 2022 and 2023, and we've been slowly making gains ever since.
Interesting. So what do you attribute that drop to?
Right. So in 2020 and 2021, locally and nationwide, we were really seeing kind of a rush to purchase homes. It was kind of like the COVID effect.
Right.
People were able to work remotely. And so people were coming in droves to Humboldt. Plus, interest rates were still really low, like in 3% territory. So yeah, it was a busy time, and then the drop happened in 22 and 23 because basically anybody that was planning on selling a home, had taken advantage of the market in 21 and 2020,
Hmm.
and then also anybody had purchased a home or who owned a home had a pretty great interest rate compared to what was being
Mm.
offered after the fact. So, we're calling that the mortgage lock-in effect, right? Where maybe you'd want to upgrade or downgrade, but you'd lose this great interest rate, so you feel kind of stuck.
In the
Um,
mortgage industry, we've called like I've heard it referred to as the golden anchor,
oh,
where
yeah. I
where
mean, it's a
it
positive
just
thing.
holds you where you're at
Mhm.
because the cost of selling and buying somewhere else is prohibitive to what you currently have.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So in 22 and 23, the number of sales dropped, but in 24 and 25, the number of sales has been slowly increasing back to what a typical year in Humboldt would be, somewhere around the 1,300 to $1,400 1,400 sales range. And for 2026 right now, we're still on track for about that number. But we're off slightly compared with the first quarter of the year, what things were trending for. So, despite that slight decline in total number of homes sold, demand is still remaining pretty strong. Median days on the market is down to 24 compared with 28 last month, and year to date that figure is down over 13%. So, homes are selling. And even though the absorption rate is up from April and the highest it's been since December, it's still down 17% compared with this same time last year. However, that being said, we have now re-entered a balanced market territory.
Remind everybody what balanced market, and are you referring to absorption rate, like that type of
Right, exactly. Yeah,
data?
the absorption rate it's also called the inventory index, and it measures the number of months it would take for all the current inventory to sell if no new inventory came on the market and the rate of sales stayed the same. So the higher the absorption rate, the more favorable it is to buyers, and the lower the absorption rate, the more favorable it is to sellers. So a balanced market would be considered between 5 and 6 months worth of inventory. Below that is sellers, and anything above 6 months is a buyer's market.
When
So,
was the last time, do you know? You probably don't know, but when was the last time we were above a 6-month absorption rate?
yeah, it actually above a 6-month
Yeah,
absorption rate.
it's been a
I think
while,
we
right?
popped into that territory in 2023,
Okay,
but or
3
maybe at
years.
the beginning of 2024,
Okay,
but really consistently Humboldt's absorption rate is about a 4.5 month
yeah,
inventory, because it's a soft seller's market in general. Sellers are well
I
positioned.
like that soft seller's market.
Yeah, still
That
a
leaves you
seller's
some wiggle
market,
room,
but
yeah.
not too like in during COVID, some markets were seeing below 1 month's worth of
That
absorption
Yeah,
rate,
that's
like
crazy.
McKinleyville, especially, and
That's when you get the
Humboldt.
extreme bidding wars going on, right? Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Very competitive. A house hits the market and it's just multiple
yeah.
offers. Yeah. In the peak of 2021, Humboldt's average absorption rate dropped below 2 months. So we felt that. And that was even below California's average
Mhm.
at the time. So Humboldt was a very hot market, very desirable. But so we're in a balanced market. And that shift from a more balanced market from a soft seller's market is becoming most obvious in the sold to list ratio, which
Mhm.
is now at about 92%. So homes are selling for 8% below their list price on average. And you can compare that with last May, when homes were selling for about 5% below list price. So there's no wild swings here, but the trends have reversed from what we were seeing in the first quarter of the year. Conditions are favorable for buyers who are ready to take advantage. And taking a closer look at our larger local markets, Eureka's also down in total number of sales for the year by about 10%. But year to date, median sale price is hanging in there, just about 2.5% above last year. And demand remains strong, with May's absorption rate at 2.97 months, so well below 5 months. Seller's market in Eureka. Now, Arcata did take a bit of a swing, only one solitary sale for the whole month.
Wow.
That is wild. Even in the depths of winter, Arcata usually has 4 or 5 sales.
Whoa.
Now, mind you, this one sale was nearly $1 million, but that brings the total number of homes sold for the year in Arcata down 23.5%,
Hmm.
with just 26 sales. And that trend falls short, actually, of 24 and 2023, when we hit a low as a county.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting. One sale for the month.
I know.
And it was an outlier at almost $1 million, which is
Exactly. Yeah, but don't get it twisted.
wow.
Active listings in Arcata is up for the month.
Huh.
So inventory's out there.
Interesting. Wonder
Very
wonder
interesting.
what's attributing to that.
Now
There's
the
been a lot of
absorption rate is the highest it's been since October.
hmm.
What's attributing to that? We've talked a bit about the dorms
Yeah, well,
opening up.
there's been new buildings. There's
Mhm.
the big on the north end of Arcata there, that what was that? 2,000 units or 1,700 units, something like that.
Right, it's a lot.
So that may attribute to it. I know when I talk to a fair amount of buyers in Arcata are actually parents of students who plan to go there for school,
Mhm.
and they're looking at buying a house because the housing options are so slim in Arcata that they see that as maybe their only housing option, or the most economically feasible option, where they buy a 3 or 4 bedroom house, they let their kid live there, and they rent out the other bedrooms to other students. But so if there's no if there's inventory, though, that wouldn't be an answer why that's not happening. But if there's a lot of available housing rental units for students, that could slim those buyers out.
Well, I think the inventory is up in part because those parents who bought properties for their students 5 years ago, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
they're not filling those as easily with tenants as they were
Mm,
because these dorms have opened up. And so maybe they're thinking, well, instead of trying to find a tenant, I'm just going to go ahead and sell the property. Um,
that's interesting.
and
I wonder
so
what the vacancy rate on rentals is in
I
Arcata.
would love to know
Yeah.
that. I
Next
wish we
month.
had
Next
a
month
better
coming to you.
source, but we'll try and get that
Yeah.
information. But regardless, absorption rate is higher in Arcata than it has been in at least the last 6 months. Inventory is available on the market, so buyers do not sleep on the Arcata market right now.
Could be a
It's a
good
good
time.
time.
Yeah, good time to buy an Arcata.
Yes, and McKinleyville's trending similar to Arcata, with the total number of sales down over 14% for the year and falling short of pace for both 2024 and 2023. Still a solid seller's market, but the absorption rate is the highest it's been since October. It's still under 2. Okay, so it is trending up, but McKinleyville is still a very hot market. But let's finish up strong with Fortuna, our golden child this month. Total number of sales in Fortuna are up 122% from
Whoa.
May. And remember, last year they had a great year, that market.
Yeah.
It's up nearly 17% for the year. Days on the market has been hovering around 13 for the past 4 months, strong. But it's also down 55% from the same time last year. But even with all those great indicators, sold to list ratio is down, median sold price is down, and absorption rate is up in Fortuna as well. So similar trends,
Hmm.
even though there are some strong indications that Fortuna's got a healthy market down there. So some of our markets are seeing some volatility in favor of buyers, but as a whole, trends have been moderate so far, but reversing from what we were seeing in the first quarter of the year.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of that, a certain amount of that's attributed to interest rates kind of climbing, obviously over the last couple
Absolutely.
months,
Hmm.
and that's a big turnoff for buyers for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep, absolutely. Along with inflation and the general cost of living, things are
Yeah.
people are questioning what their budgets are going to look like.
Yep.
Um, and now it's everyone's favorite segment, the market share report. So this is where I tell you how many sales we've had in Humboldt and the median home price, and then break it down by our 4 major markets. So as a county, Humboldt had 89 sales in the month of May, with a median sold price of 419,000, which is down 2.6% from April. Eureka had 20 sales, 22.5% of the market, and a median sold price of 406,150.
Hmm.
Fortuna also had 20 sales, so a great showing for Fortuna, 22.5% of the market, and a median sold price of 449,000.
Wow.
Yeah. Next is McKinleyville with 6 sales and 6.7% of the market,
Hmm.
and a median sold price of 467,500. And coming in last with just 1 sale, 1.1% of the market, Arcata had a median sold price of 991,300.
How did you manage to calculate that median?
It
That must have been
it
difficult.
was, yeah, mental gymnastics. Yep, so that is the market share report. Of course, we have so many different smaller markets here in Humboldt, and even neighborhood to neighborhood can vary. So
Yeah.
if you have questions about your unique property or the unique type of home you're searching for, reach out and we can talk about some of the specifics that would apply to you.
Well, thank you so much, Annalise.
You're welcome.
Let's hit some. Should we hit the? You want to hit your listing of the month, or should?
Ah, yes.
There you go.
I would love
Can't.
to. Yes, the featured listing of the month, I call it the Wizard's Hat.
The wizard's
Yep,
hat.
many of you
Oh,
may recognize this iconic
you call it
landmark.
that.
I do, and I
Okay.
think the neighborhood does
Okay.
too.
Okay. All
So
right.
you may recognize the iconic landmark on your way up to the top of Humboldt Hill. It's 6873 Humboldt Hill Road. It is a 3-bed, 2-bath home set on nearly half an acre, very park-like
Nice.
grounds with
Nice.
mature landscaping and privacy.
Hmm.
It's bright, it's inviting, has a spacious deck and patio, a spa-like primary suite that features custom tile work and a walk-in shower. And, of course, as you drive up to the property, you're greeted by a custom shed to store your trash bins built to resemble a wizard's hat. So it's truly magical. We're listed at 499,900, so call today for a private showing.
Sounds like an attractive listing.
It's very nice. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
That sounds fun. Right. Is that why you wear the green
For
coat today? The Wizards I don't know, is that your Wizards coat?
I mean, we can call it that, but Hyperion's colors are green
Oh,
and gold
there
too.
you go.
So
Sorry. Yeah, of course.
I have
Of course.
a quite a large chunk of my wardrobe is green. So
All right. Well, let's go into some community events going on. Of course, first I'll touch on the amazing, the wonderful, the huge
the one and
Oyster
only.
Fest,
Woo!
June 13th. It's coming up. It's the week before Father's Day weekend this year, so they switched that up. So don't if you're set on Father's Day weekend and Oyster Fest, don't get off of that.
I've always
It's always
associated
been,
it with
I
Father's
know,
Day.
but it's
Thank
not this
you.
year. So
Uh-huh.
the week before. But yeah, it's going to be a great event. All the local vendors, music, of course, oysters, and other food available, of course. So get out. It's an all day event, really, very family friendly. Get out and support your local food vendors and try some amazing oysters. It's kind of peak oyster season. Here we are. So hopefully we have really good weather from now until then, and it'll be a great time for everybody. The family, you'll see a bunch of people that you know. It's probably one of the peak events of the year. We just had the kinetic sculpture race that passed. Of course, that's a big one. Oyster Fest is right up there. So get out and enjoy.
Yeah, I love all these great community events that we have here in Humboldt. Now, and May, your partner,
Yeah.
is a champion, right? She's got some medals to show for Oyster Fest, right?
Yeah, her first year up here, so not last year, year before, she won Best Raw Oyster and Best Presentation. Um, and I think she has some fun and exciting things planned for this year, but we
Ooh.
will have to wait and see.
She's
So
competing?
she's competing, and she will also have a booth this year for the first time. We're going to do a
That's
food
Tasty
booth.
Tiger?
Tasty Tiger, yep. So
Okay.
we'll have some oysters, we'll have some alternatives to oysters available as well. So, and her food is amazing. So make sure you check
Awesome.
out the Tasty Tiger food booth.
You'll see me there. And you guys are also out at Friday night markets
Yes,
too,
we
right?
are. Yeah,
Great.
the Friday night markets have been incredible so far. We got the new crab stage there on Second Street. It's pretty cool. They've moved music there. They have multiple music kind of stages throughout the market. They're doing cocktails this year at the drink booth, and of course beer and cider. All local cideries and breweries featured. So yeah, Friday night markets are awesome. But so make sure you get out to those as well. And Oyster Fest. Those are my big two. So.
Well, and speaking of local breweries and distilleries,
Yeah.
this Saturday, June 6th, Rotary Club of Eureka is hosting the Bootlegger Bingo
Oh.
at the Eureka Theater. So it's a bingo event, and you can wear your favorite Prohibition style wardrobe.
All right. That sounds fun.
It'll be a good night. The Eureka Theater just got those new lights.
Yeah.
So
That was
are
impressive. I saw there was a little concert there. Was it last week? Last weekend, I
every
believe.
Friday after
The
every
light show
Friday
was
night
incredible.
market. Yeah. Yeah.
They were really showing it off. So,
Well,
and it goes really good with the Art Deco theme of the
exactly.
theater. So I think that's a great venue.
And Hyperion is a proud sponsor of the Eureka Theater's summer 80s movie
Oh.
lineup. So every Wednesday night, it's an 80s movie. I think this first one is going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark. And with your movie ticket, you also get a slice of pizza from Paul's Live from New York.
Wow.
So check out their website for the lineup and be sure to show up on Wednesdays for those 80s movies, sponsored by Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
Awesome. Well, way to go.
So that's one great community event. And then I also just wanted to give a little bit of a plug and a thank you to the community. Myself and Hyperion Humboldt Realty have been nominated for the North Coast Journal's Best of Humboldt's competition. And so voting is throughout the month of June. And I would so appreciate your vote for Best Real Estate Agent and Hyperion for Best Real Estate Office. It's exciting to be nominated, and I just am so grateful for the community's support as I've been growing this business.
Well, congratulations,
Thank
and
you.
you'll certainly have my vote. So
Thank you.
congratulations.
Appreciate that. And I think that is all we have for you for the Redwood Real Estate Report this month, unless I missed anything.
I don't think so. I think we're good to sign off.
All
So
right.
I'm Ben Larson with Larson Home Loans.
And I'm Annalise von Borstel with Hyperion Humboldt Realty.
Thank you so much for joining us once again.